Wish we were on the East Coast. But thank you for hosting us here at Citizens Bank Park. What an incredible day, and happy to be here in Philly. Happy to be here in the district of Representative Elizabeth Fiedler, a great leader in our state house, Senator Nikhil Sabal, wonderful leader in our state Senate, and so many members of the legislature, including the chair of our Philly delegation, Representative Cephas, and the chairman of the Transportation Committee, which is a very relevant committee chair for today's announcement. Chairman Eddie Nielsen, thank you for being with us. This is an exciting day for Philadelphians who live and work in South Philly, and for the millions of sports fans who come out to games throughout the year. I'm thrilled to announce our comprehensive plan, developed in partnership with the City of Philadelphia, to fix traffic congestion in and around the sports complex and in the lower South Philadelphia region. We brought together over the last few years a broad coalition of over 24 stakeholders from government and from the private sector, from the City of Philadelphia and SEPTA to regional chambers of commerce, local businesses, the Navy Yard, Philliport, the Philly sports teams who play at our stadium complex, and of course the bronze and the brains of organized labor represented here today by Ryan Boyer, the head of the Philadelphia Building Trades. For years, leaders across the Philadelphia region have talked about improving traffic in this stretch throughout South Philly. And now I'm here to announce today we are finally getting it done. I want to thank the members of my administration who have worked for the better part of the last 2 years to help make this day possible. I want to start with my Executive Deputy Chief of Staff, Amanda Warren, who does an incredible job on so many things and joins us here today. Thank you, Amanda. I want to say a special thanks to our Chief Transformation Officer, Ben Kirshner, who just knows how to solve problems, and we appreciate Ben and his leadership being here today. I want to thank Secretary Mike Carroll. It took Mike Carroll 12 days to reopen I-95. It took him a little longer to come up with the plan here, but this is a plan that's going to help us for generations to come. I want to thank Secretary Mike Carroll, the great secretary of PennDOT. We worked together, my administration and others, to develop a plan that will reduce congestion, that will ensure public safety, and that will strengthen public transit access. With nearly a $30 million investment from the Commonwealth, along with support from each of the Philadelphia sports teams and Live Hotel and Casino, we are kickstarting multiple infrastructure projects that will tackle the biggest pain points causing congestion for traffic moving through the complex to roadways like 76 and I-95. That includes a project adding a second left turn lane from Front Street onto 95, which was just completed under leadership of Secretary Carroll earlier this month. That is already making life easier for our commuters. And a new westbound entrance ramp for 76 coming from 7th Street, where construction will start soon. Thanks to Chairman Jim Schultz and his great leadership at the DRPA. And Jim, we appreciate you being here with us today. Appreciate all the good work DRPA does. They granted PennDOT the land to do this work. We're also going to add a traffic operations center within the sports complex. We're going to install new traffic signals and upgrade signs in the area to make it easier and safer for motorists, and to make sure that we make long-term improvements to keep up with traffic increasing over time, particularly with the new arena being built in 2030 and the new WNBA team coming here, which is just going to add more sports fans coming here. We're working with the Lower South Infrastructure and Resiliency Collaborative to conduct a series of studies that will guide the roadway projects well into the future. Another major part of this plan is our work on developing a complex-wide strategy to coordinate traffic flows across the stadiums on really big event days. And thanks to the fact that all of our teams are winning, we have a lot of big event days. Our three stadiums in South Philly, they welcome 7 million guests each and every year to more than 300 events each year, hosting home games, not just for our city Philly sports teams, but also major music events and other important community events. No matter what event you are attending, I know every single guest who has driven to an event in the complex can speak to the pain it can be sometimes to leave this complex after a busy game and a whole lot of traffic. Some of you have had to take a gamble. I could use a Phillies hat right now. Some of you may have had to take a gamble on whether or not to stick it out until the end of a game you're watching versus missing the last couple minutes to beat the worst of the traffic. And if you're a Philly sports fan, you know that's a real nail biter in the last minute of every game, that it really, really counts. I think any Birds fan here, Don, will remember 4th and 26, right? We were looking at McNabb hitting Fred X down the field for a first down that turned the tide of that game. Unfortunately, people left that game early. I think there were a bunch of folks who regretted having to listen to Merrill Reese on the radio and not stay there and be there in person. Look, I can tell you, I've got memories of that myself as a kid. There was nothing better than when my dad would come home early from work and bring me to a Phillies game, bring me to a Sixers game, have that special time with my pop. But to know that there was going to be that moment in the ninth inning, that moment in the fourth quarter where he says, maybe we need to go and beat the traffic, that's kind of a bummer, even though I loved those moments with my pop. I still remember those ninth innings where we would run out. The only stop we would make when we were trying to hit the car was that one random guy with the metal shopping cart full of soft pretzels that were wet for some reason, but we would buy them that sleeve and we would eat them in the car ride home listening to the radio. I don't want us to have to do that anymore. I don't want dads and fans and others to have to make that decision about leaving a game early. It is important that we get this right. And after a whole lot of years of this not being right, now is the time to fix it, and that is exactly what we are doing. South Philly is an absolutely critical economic hub for the city of Philadelphia and for our entire Commonwealth. And under my administration, this economic development down here is growing. Companies like DrinkPack and Terra Power Isotopes are setting up shop in the Bellwether District. Shipbuilding is ramping up in the Navy Yard. Cruise lines are now back in our port, and we're hosting massive events here in the city of Philadelphia, including the World Cup, including MLB All-Star, and of course UFC 330 over at Xfinity Mobile. We're attracting a whole lot of attention to South Philly, and it's important that we get traffic and infrastructure right, not just for us here, but for the millions of Philadelphians and visitors who move through this stretch every day, who deserve traffic that flows and flows safely. This is the plan that we've been working on. This is the plan that will deliver, and this is the plan that's going to change the game here in South Philly, across our great city, and across this Commonwealth. The author of this plan, the person that worked so hard to make it happen, is Secretary Mike Carroll, our great Secretary of PennDOT. I invite him here to say a few words.
Hello, everybody. I'm Mike Carroll, the PennDOT Secretary, and it's a thrill to be here today in Philly to talk about all these exciting investments that'll be made in this region. You know, the Shapiro administration knows that a strong transportation system is critical for Pennsylvania's economy, especially in South Philadelphia Sports District and the surrounding areas in this region of the state. And of course, the governor mentioned the thousands of visitors that show up in this region of the state almost every day. You know, PennDOT meets its core mission, repairing roads and bridges and providing transit opportunities across our state. And under the governor's leadership, PennDOT has improved over 19,000 miles of roadway and advanced over 1,700 bridge projects across our Commonwealth. We've also been charged with finding solutions to long-standing issues, which often unlock tremendous opportunities. This expansive partnership that we celebrate today is one of those opportunities. I am personally excited to share more details on what PennDOT has done, is currently doing, and will do as part of this comprehensive plan. Earlier this month, as the governor said, PennDOT opened a second left turn lane from Front Street onto I-95 North to make that traffic movement far more efficient. Because of this $3 million investment, about 500 more vehicles per hour can now access 95 compared with the previous lane arrangement. That's over a 50% improvement, which reduces travel time and congestion on the roads that connect to I-95. Additionally, after the land transfer that the governor mentioned from the Delaware River Port Authority, PennDOT will start to design a new westbound entrance ramp to I-76. This expands westbound travel options, which are currently limited to a single access ramp at Broad Street. This project is estimated at $15 million and will involve all of our partners, and when completed in 2028, will be used by about 800 vehicles per hour. This additional connection point will alleviate congestion on other nearby routes, and I am thrilled to see that project advance. A $6.6 million PennDOT grant to the city for 19 traffic signals that deploy artificial intelligence in the sports district will also ease traffic concerns near the stadiums. On the short-term horizon, the department is conducting 2 priority corridor studies to determine future upgrades, one for South Broad Street through the sports complex area, and another at the intersection of 26th and Penrose, and we look forward to the results of those studies that will be finished later next year. I'm also really pleased that our partners at the Delaware Valley Regional Planning Commission received a $1.5 million federal Build America funding grant to be used to help identify project scopes and funding options for freight network study in this region. As much as we have to concern ourselves with traffic and motor vehicles for sports folks, we also have to deal with commercial traffic from our partners at Hilco and the Navy Yard and the port. This will help determine routes between Phillips and the Bellwether District while exploring viable marine rail connectivity. These areas, to state the obvious, are growing, and the study will ensure we're poised to increase commercial activity and grow this economy even more. And we're not just studying freight movement opportunities. I'm excited that we're well underway on a project to ease congestion and improve safety at Phillips at the access to the city near the Walt Whitman Bridge. A $10 million PennDOT multimodal port investment advanced a project at the intersection of Columbus and Delaware at Packer, and that has removed unused industrial tracks, widened the roadway, improved pedestrian facilities, and upgraded a traffic signal. Suffice to say, it makes life easier for folks, especially commercial drivers, accessing our port at Phillips. So we thank that good work that was done by PennDOT, our contractors and consultants. This has already relieved congestion at the port entrance and makes it just generally safer to travel through that area. And talking with our port friends this morning, I'm thrilled to hear that they think, that, as I do, that that's made a huge difference for this region. Also working with the Hilco redevelopment partners and regional stakeholders, efforts continue to transform the Bellwether District into an active logistics, e-commerce, and life sciences hub. And that is really exciting. By improving roadway access, modernizing traffic management, and coordinating investments across agencies and partners, we are creating safer, a more reliable transportation option for residents, workers, and visitors. All told, I'm really proud of the work that the PennDOT team has done at the governor's direction to advance the traffic movement, safe movements in this region, both commercial and visitors and residents of South Philly. This is all of the above. As the governor said before, you know, it's all of these modes that matter. And so I'm proud of the work that's done. And I'm also proud to turn the podium over to my friend, Sean Jelasinski from the Sports Complex Special Services District. Sean.
Good morning. Very excited and honored to be here this morning representing the Sports Complex Special Services District. Created 24 years ago, our Special Services District, a nonprofit corporation, remains actively engaged in a mission to help protect and improve community quality of life for our South Philadelphia neighborhoods, while also promoting efficient operation of our world-class sports complex venues. We are so very fortunate to be fully funded by the venue operators, the Phillies, the Eagles, and Comcast Spectacor, enabling our district to thrive and to directly invest in our local neighborhoods with enhanced residential street cleaning, landscaping and tree care, and various community events, services, and improvement projects, just to name a few. Last year, our sports complex hosted 378 events with over 8 million ticketed visitors. We recognize the traffic-related challenges this presents to our local neighborhoods and area stakeholders on a daily basis, especially during the ingress and egress of larger events. That is why this announcement today is so meaningful. In our ongoing pursuit of continuous improvement objectives, this level of investment represents a huge step forward to improve safety and better manage traffic flows into the future. This is truly a day of appreciation and the power of partnerships, achieving shared goals. Thank you, Governor Shapiro, Mayor Parker, your respective staffs, and all of the partners involved in the ongoing efforts of our Lower South Collaborative. And lastly, to the 21 members that serve on our district's board of directors, which includes our team executives, volunteer community directors, city managing director, and city and state elected officials serving our area. Thank you for all of your ongoing time, dedication, and support for our shared goals. And with that, it is my pleasure to welcome up our host from the Philadelphia Phillies, John Middleton.
Didn't know I was batting leadoff today. Today's announcement represents a critical step forward in addressing what has long been the clearest and most significant challenge facing the Philadelphia sports complex: the efficient egress and ingress of fans arriving and departing from our respective venues. Year after year, this remains the #1 frustration I hear from residents, fans, and team executives. Materially improving traffic flow, transportation infrastructure, and overall accessibility is essential to the continued success, growth, and long-term future of the Lower South region, a unique complex comprised of residents, the port, the Navy Yard, Bellwether District, and the sports complex. We are deeply appreciative of Governor Shapiro and his administration, as well as Mayor Parker and Council President Johnson, for making these improvements a priority. It is encouraging to see real attention, urgency, and commitment finally being directed toward these important issues. We are excited that these projects are being accelerated so residents and fans can experience real benefits in the near future. They deserve nothing less. Today's commitments are significant and meaningful, but as the governor reminded us, we must all recognize that today is just the first step in a long process. More infrastructure improvements are needed if the port, Navy Yard, Bellwether, and sports complex are to achieve their full potential. Over 8 million fans come through our venues each and every year. This complex is a major economic engine for both the city and Commonwealth, generating substantial economic activity, jobs, tourism, and tax revenues annually. The continued growth and future success of the Lower South region is dependent upon improved transportation infrastructure to enhance efficiency, accessibility, and overall mobility throughout South Philadelphia. We look forward to working closely with the Commonwealth, City, PennDOT, and other partners on the next phases of these efforts. Improving the experience for the millions of fans, visitors, employees, and residents who move through this area each year is a shared responsibility requiring continued prioritization and significant investment in the years ahead. We have a multi-generational opportunity at hand, one that can uplift and transform Philadelphia for decades. Let's seize the day. Thank you.
Thank you, John, and thank you for hosting us. I think you're going to hear a lot of the same themes from everybody up here. And so on behalf of our ownership team, Josh Harris, David Blitzer, David Edelman, our driving force behind our arena project here with our partners at Comcast Spectacor, I want to thank you, Governor Shapiro, for all that you're doing. Secretary Carroll, thank you very much with PennDOT. And the Parker administration for all of their support in what we're trying to accomplish here. Really, when we talk about the future of the complex and we talk about what's most important, the North Star to the teams who are here, I think you're going to hear the common theme. It's really about the experience for the fans. It's really about how do you make it better so that you're delivering that once-in-a-lifetime experience for those people who are coming here to the complex to enjoy their favorite sports, their favorite teams. And this announcement today is going to go a long way towards helping that. Just the very way that we move within the complex, the ingress and the egress, and the ease of being able to come here on a daily basis, which is almost every day based on the use of this area. It's just going to make the fans of Philadelphia that much happier with their experiences here. And a big part of what we're looking forward to in 2030 when we open up the new arena is really about not only creating that world-class experience that is going to lead the nation, if not the world, in that sports and entertainment experience right here, right across the street, but it's also going to be welcoming the WNBA to the city of Philadelphia for the first time, which, Governor, thank you for your support in helping us there. I know it's something that's incredibly important to Josh and David and DA, and it's something that Mayor Parker had worked on with us as well, and I know that Commissioner Silver and his team are incredibly excited. So to be able to welcome them as our first event, or our first professional sports event in the building in the spring of 2030 is going to be an amazing opportunity for us. But as we look to getting there, again, we just want to say thank you to Governor Shapiro and all you've done for being able to create that experience that is now going to just make all of our fans that much happier when they come to our facilities as they come in for games. So thank you again. Don Smolinski, ladies and gentlemen.
You're good, Tad. Thanks, Tad. I guess first I can start, Governor. I actually have the right haircut for today's press conference, right? I don't get to say that often. I want to sort of echo, I think, what you've heard and really express our appreciation on behalf of everyone here at the Philadelphia Eagles to the Governor, your office, Ben, Michelle, Mayor Parker, and really all of the region's partners and neighbors. You all know who you are. You've been in the meetings with us over the last several years as we've collectively tried to work with the administration on this comprehensive plan. So thank you. Been working on this for 25 plus years, so it's a big day as 20,000 cars come down to tailgate for Eagles games. And I'd like to keep them all the way in their seats till the very end, and this will help do that. So we've all worked collectively and collaboratively to try to make the experience better for all of our 8 million visitors, whether they're from the Philadelphia region or from around the world or the country, and also now to support the robust economic activity that's happening between the Bellwether District, the Navy Yard, and the port. Excuse me, with public and private support, the parties represented here today are demonstrating that they care and that they are solutions-oriented. And as John said, that we're going to continue to invest in this area to make it a vibrant experience for all of us. So thank you very much to everyone, and thank you for today. And now I'd like to introduce Dan Hilferty from Comcast Spectacor.
Thank you, Don. Good morning, everyone. And Governor, it's great to be here with you. I was thinking when John talked about leading off that in baseball parlance, that would mean that I was the fourth batter, the cleanup batter. That's a scary thought. And then I thought, well, if I had a football game, I'm probably kicking an extra point. That's even a scarier thought. So my comfort, Tad, is in basketball. And although my stellar career was not yours. I'm very comfortable coming off the bench because that's what I usually did. But anyway, I'm honored to stand alongside Governor Shapiro and everyone here today, other team leaders from the administration, both in Harrisburg and here in Philadelphia, to announce this funding package that will deliver a better game, concert, event experience to all fans. And we've heard it over and over again. Philadelphia's fan base, as we all know, is the best in the country, maybe the best in the world. And our teams have a strong tradition of working together. This announcement reflects a new phase of collaboration. The great work announced today is in part because representatives from each team, the Eagles, the Phillies, the 76ers, and the Flyers, came together to form the Sports Complex Impact Group. The Impact Group is funded by the teams and meets bi-weekly to find creative and meaningful ways to resolve the most prominent challenges in the sports complex, aligned alongside with the city and the state. Today is not the end of the Impact's work, but the beginning of a journey, a very exciting journey. And in 2030, when we open a new arena, that will be a next major phase. We are advocates to continue this great work with the city and the state. South Philadelphia is one of the largest economic development growth areas in the Commonwealth, as Governor Shapiro pointed out. This year, we are welcoming global and iconic events like the FIFA World Cup, which starts in just a few days, the Major League All-Star Game, and the UFC. These traffic and transportation improvements, the UFC, by the way, which the governor led the charge in advocating to get it right here in Philadelphia. But these traffic and transportation improvements will serve not only our sports complex, but this incredible region to ensure Philadelphia remains on the global stage. There's more to come. I couldn't be more excited about the future of South Philadelphia. Thank you, Governor Shapiro, PennDOT Secretary Mike Carroll, Ben Kirshner, for all of your work, for your foresight and focus to make this announcement happen. Thank you, Mayor Parker, who could not be here, and your team, especially Mike Carroll and PIDC. Thank you, DRPA Chair Jim Schultz, good friend Jim. Thank you to the Sports Complex Special Services, led by Executive Director Sean. Thank you for your comments. And thank you to leaders from the Phillies, the Eagles, and the Sixers. Here with me today, here together to announce this great work by the Impact Group. So thank you all very much for being here, and it's my honor to call back our amazing governor, Josh Shapiro.
Thank you, guys. Thank you. All right, we'll take a few questions. Before I do, I just want to point out that today is not just an important day with this infrastructure announcement, and as you heard from Don, decades in the making. But please don't lose sight of the fact that you had the local and state government working together, the public sector and the private sector working together. Organized labor was at the table. And what you just witnessed up here is not something I believe I've witnessed maybe in my lifetime as a crazy Philadelphia sports fan, and that is each of the teams standing together after working together for years on this important initiative. That's a big deal. We are blessed to be a community that works together to solve big problems. And I'm really grateful for each of the participants who are here today at every level doing this work. And with that, Secretary Carroll and I are happy to answer some questions from the media. Yeah.
Governor, thank you. Maybe this is much for Mike Carroll. What's going to happen on Patterson Avenue, westbound of Broad Street? It is absolutely better trying to get everyone away from the game if you have to bring up the road out there.
So the studies that I mentioned will help dictate suggestions and solutions to those challenges. The artificial intelligence traffic signals will improve traffic flow in the sports district region. So the totality of what we are currently doing and the results of the study will speak to that exact issue.
What is the timeline for this project? When is it going to start, where people are going to see work being done, and then when is it expected to be complete?
I'll have Secretary Carroll walk through each of them specifically, but again, part of it is already complete. Other initiatives are happening literally right now, and we're doing long-term planning. I'm not a guy that likes to come up with plans and have them sit on a table or a bookshelf somewhere. We got to put it into action. each of the initiatives we announced today are already underway in some form or fashion, and you're going to begin to see results over these next few months. Mr. Secretary, if you could walk through the specifics.
Well, Governor, two are already completed, and that is the at-grade crossing for the port and the access, the additional lane for 95. So those are completed. The work will commence immediately with respect to the new ramp for 76 for once the design work is done. It really is a straightforward transportation improvement project. There are no bridges involved. It's really an ordinary interstate ramp from 7th Street to 76 West. And then the studies will commence this year, and then the results of those studies will dictate next steps. So a lot to be done with respect to all of the partners here, Bellwether, the port, the Navy Yard, and the sports districts, and extends really all the way down to the airport. And so much of the work includes I-95 and how we address the challenges there.
Great.
Aside from what's already done,
just have a question regarding those AI traffic signals. What is AI used for in this case? How is it beneficial? Will it be dictating when those traffic signals go red or green?
Yeah. I'll let the Secretary go more in depth, but one of the things that we heard from local law enforcement, state police, and just frankly, anyone paying attention to the signalization is nothing was tuned up together. Nothing was coordinated. And a big reason for some of the traffic as you were leaving or coming in is because those signals were off. AI is going to help fix that in a huge way, have those signals coordinated, have the traffic flowing, and use technology as an enhancement to move people along and get them to their destination more quickly.
I think that speaks for the Governor.
Okay.
I think that answers it.
Secretary said I did okay on that one. There you go.
Unrelated question, but the Trump administration is reportedly considering halting international travelers to sanctuary cities right before FIFA starts, including Philadelphia. How do you feel about that, and do you have any plans to try and fight that?
Yeah, I mean, look, you're referring to the commentary at the cabinet meeting yesterday? I mean, they spew a lot of BS at those cabinet meetings. I don't really pay a whole lot of attention to that. Here's what I will say is if they tried to put that into action, they would be met with a swift legal response from my administration. And I will remind you, every time I've taken this administration to court, I've won. We need to protect the city of Philadelphia, protect visitors, and ensure that the city of Philadelphia and the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania's economy doesn't suffer because of a decision made by the federal government. I would also just say more broadly, and you know, Mr. Hilferty understands this as one of the leaders on bringing the World Cup here. We are poised over these next few weeks to welcome the global community to the city of Philadelphia for the World Cup. The last thing we want to do right now, as the Trump administration seemingly is doing, is send a signal that we don't want people to come here. We are open. We are welcome. We want you to come to the games. We want you to visit our museums. We want you to eat our restaurants. We want you to drink responsibly at our bars till 4 a.m., by the way. And we want you to enjoy the birthplace of democracy here in the year of 250 years since it all started. So I'm not sure why they said that other than, you know, these guys, when they sit around these cabinet meetings, they get a little carried away in their attempts to suck up to the president. So I'll chalk it up to maybe some overzealousness there. But if they choose to move forward here in a reckless, chaotic, and cruel way, we will respond.
Governor, I think that the damage has already been done. A lot of, you know, like you talk to hotel people, the excitement maybe doesn't feel like I think everybody thought it would feel a couple weeks out from this.
I'm excited. And look, I think what we've shown in Pennsylvania is we can pull off huge events. We just set a record in Pittsburgh for the NFL draft. And by the way, kudos to Howie. He pulled off some great moves in that draft. Incredible work with law enforcement, incredible work at every level of government to ensure that we set a record for the NFL draft. Just last week at Aronimink, we pulled off an incredible PGA championship. Again, everybody at every level working together. These huge events are great for the economy of Pennsylvania. It brings people to our communities. Their eyes are open to the greatness of this Commonwealth. And I think these big events are one of the reasons why we've got the only growing economy in the Northeast, why we've set an economic development record. By the way, done more economic development in the last 2 years than the prior 15 years combined. These big events are a reason why. And so I expect the World Cup to be another opportunity to showcase Philadelphia to the world, followed by the Summer Classic, the MLB All-Star Game, which is going to be unbelievable. I can't wait for that. And UFC. These big events are working to turn people's eyes on to the Commonwealth, open up their eyes to the Commonwealth, turn them on to this great Commonwealth, and celebrate the greatest country on the face of the earth at this pivotal moment.
Guys, time for one more question, please.
How important is this traffic plan, given the Eagles are weighing what they'll do long term with their stadium?
I didn't hear your question.
How important is the traffic plan, given that Eagles are weighing their options with the stadium long term?
Well, putting aside whatever the Eagles are going to do in the future, I'll comment briefly on that in a moment. This traffic plan is decades in the making. It's something, again, I experienced as a kid, those traffic jams coming out of the city. People shouldn't have to go through that. They should be able to come, spend a whole bunch of money here enjoying the game, enjoying their family time, contributing to the economy, enjoying our winning sports teams. And then when the game is over, after the last bell, the last out, you name it, they should be able to walk to their cars and peacefully get on their way and get home in an efficient way. That's the responsibility we all have, regardless of what any sports teams do in the future. As for the Eagles, I've said this publicly, I'll reiterate it in front of Don. I think they're doing an extraordinarily responsible thing, which is thinking about the future of this iconic franchise, taking in the input from fans all across the region, and ultimately they'll make the right decision for the Philadelphia Eagles. And I want to stress the Philadelphia Eagles, because they're not going anywhere. All right. Thank you all very much.